Good morning mga katatay. Tatay Mike, kasama natin ngayon. Press U1. Or U1 na lang. Pwede?
Pwede.
Alam mo, napaka-personal sa akin nung episode kasi bukod sa comeback episode ko siya, simula nung nakita ko yung leadership mo, finally, inayos ko yung registration ko dito sa Las Piñas. Kasi gusto ko nang bumoto dito. So, ganun kalakas yung hatak mo sa aming millennial crowd and to me personally. So maraming salamat sa oras mo. U1,
Salamat,
Rex, parang ganda ng pangalan. I have to start it with that. Na sobrang dalawang magandang first name, U1 and Rex. Anong tawag sa'yo ng lolo mo?
Well, unang-una, good morning. Good morning, bro Mike.
Sige, good morning.
Good morning sa mga...
Wala nang pleasantries eh.
Diretso na. But good morning sa mga viewers and congratulations on your comeback episode.
Thank you!
It's an honor to be part of it. Pasensya na rin kayo if my voice is kind of hoarse. Dahil as you mentioned, this is, ano nga bang name ng Tatay Small Talks.
Tatay Small Talks.
And being a tatay, I just came from, fixing the clothes, baon ng mga bata and all that, early morning.
Anong pinabaon mo ngayon?
Kanina, as usual, ang walang kamatayang spam. At syempre, hindi mawala scrambled eggs. But, good morning and thank you for having me. Talking about my name, Rex. Mention pa natin last name ko, Toralbaya. Yung growing up, it was kind of hard, not only for me, but to my peers and friends as well to number one, pronounce my name.
Pronounce.
Dahil,
hindi pa spell, ha?
Oo, pronounce pa lang eh. So, madalas kahit nung bata ako, ewan ang pagka-pronounce. But my mom got it from abroad when she was working as a nurse.
Tunog talaga eh. Tunog Burgess eh.
Tunog tunog pasos siya, di ba? But it was something that she found that was really interesting for her and pinangalan niya yun sa akin. It was, I think, name of a production company. As far as I can remember, it's Hugh and Lloyd Productions in Europe, in Vienna, in Austria, nung nurse siya. So I'm sure maraming sa mga nanay niyo, nurse din dati sa Europe. Just like my mom, nakita niya yun, nabasa niya, and then she named me after that. My dad naman, knowing him kasi masyado yun medyo matalino, mahilig magbasa and all that. So he wanted a name that will mean that something strong, that's something profound, and something that's meaningful. So Rex naman, it being synonymous with a king.
Okay.
Diba?
Akala ko kasi katunog ng next.
Easy. Hindi ko na isip. But that's the story of my name. And until now, ang pang-asar sa akin ng mga tropa ko is yung pangalan kong Rex dahil nga most probably.
Di ba? Pero ang tawag sa'yo ng lola mo?
Well, we're really Ilonggo. We're an Ilonggo family. We're from Bacolod. Actually, we're from Binalbagan. It's an hour and a half south of Bacolod. And just like any Ilonggo lad, Toto ang tawag sa mga bata. So ako, I was
sobrang basic ng Toto.
Basic. I grew up being called Toto sa bahay and kahit dun sa una naming tinirhang lugar sa Golden Gate, Toto ang pagkakilala talaga sa
Okay, pero dito ka na lumaki sa Las Piñas.
Yes.
Kinanganak at lumaki. Born and raised here.
I wasn't born here. Sa Pasig ako pinanganak. But after 1 year, we transferred na sa Golden Gate. And then by 1990, we transferred na here sa BF Resort Village. So majority of my life has really been in Las Piñas except for the first year.
Dito talaga lumaki si Toto eh.
Correct.
Kasi may impression na sa'yo, na kang lumaki ka sa sheltered environment. Sabi mo nga, from Pasig, Golden Gate, tapos BF Resort na, mga dalawang kilalang subdivision dito sa Las Piñas eh. Pero, contrary to that impression, lumaki ka sa payak na household. Can you tell us about it?
Well, one of the main reasons why we transferred to Golden Gate subdivision in 1983, and I am sure a lot would be able to relate to this, a lot of families would be able to relate to this. The main reason was that nangungupahan lang naman sila mama at papa
Okay.
noon. And during the 80s, wala pa namang ganong kaliberal na mga housing loan programs and
Oo.
all that.
Oo.
And coming from a very, magulong era, may revolution
Oo,
and all that, hindi ba? Hindi rin naman ganun kalaki ang income nila. I think, ang ginamit ng dad ko na facility to be able to afford a home or a house or buy a house was yung loan facility ng lola ko because my lola was working with Bangko Sentral.
Oo.
But kinausap niya, sabi niya, gamitin ko yung loan facility mo, ako na lang magbabayad sa'yo.
Okay.
He worked in Unilab in Mandaluyong, pero since mahal yung mga available houses doon or homes doon sa area na yun, he had to wander a bit far dito sa Las Piñas. Golden Gate yung napuntahan talaga niyang unang lugar na patingin niya ay affordable sa kanya. So, the word payak really, is for me relative. While my dad had a stable job, just like any other family, and that's within my circle nung time na yun,
Oo.
nagsisimula lahat eh.
Tama.
My dad was just trying to make use of everything, maximize everything, and find ways. Ika nga nila, kailangan lang magaling kang maghanap ng paraan.
Tama. Dumiskarte.
Dumiskarte. So, yun yung diskarte niya. Nangutang siya sa... hindi siya nangutang, but ginamit niya yung loan facility na available sa lola ko.
Oo.
And then...
In short, nakiride.
Nakiride. In fact, nakakatuwa kasi dito kahit sa Bef Resort Village, marami dito taga Bangko Sentral. Because during that time, Bangko Sentral employees had that good privilege or benefit na pwede sila mag-housing loan. And kami, indirectly, was a benefit. Or, we benefited from that too. Kasi ginamit ng tatay ko yung housing loan benefit ng lola ko was working with Bangko Sentral.
Sige, pag-usapan natin mamaya yung humble start ng dad mo. Pero dito din sa Golden Gate, nagsimula yung immersion ni Toto. Yung love for the community. Dad mo yung nag-influence sa'yo?
Immersion in the community. Alam mo, natatanda ko nakakatawa. Siguro mga 6 years old ako. 5, 6, up until 7 yata ako. Naalala ko, naglalakad ako sa kalsada, nakabrief lang ako ayaw ko mag-shorts, ang init Growing up, I was a bit chubby.
Yung sando mo ba yung butas-butas siya na... Yung para siyang mesh?
Hindi ko maalala precisely, pero definitely nakasando ako. Nakabrief lang ako. And, I was playing around malapit sa bahay namin together with my friends. At in fairness, di lang naman ako yung nakabrief doon. Marami rin nakabrief lang din. But during those times, I would always see Papa, being active sa mga neighbors. Madalas natutuwa ako kasi pag nagiinuman silang saya Hindi ba, may gitara, wala pa namang streaming nung time na yun. It was just purely gitara, beer.
Madalas ang brownout.
Nung time na yun, hindi ko masyadong ma-recall, pero yung brownout nung time na yun, nare-recall ko dito na ako sa BF Resort Village. Pero siguro, since maliit pa ako noon, and I was just amused with, playing around sa paligid ng bahay, wala akong pakialam kung nagba-brownout. In fact, baka nga mas masaya pa sa akin kung nagba-brownout, di ba? But, I normally see Papa be very active sa community.
Sa community.
Yung mga simpleng, mayroon kasi kaming noon naalala ko to, meron kaming yung tamaraw. And normally, pag may tamaraw ka nung time na yun, yung mga kapitbahay mong kailangan magpabuhat ng cabinet, refrigerator, what have you. Kahit hindi lipat bahay, kahit simpleng paglipat lang, tawagan si Papa kung pwede patulong.
Shoutout to Toyota. Tamaraw.
Baka naman.
Nagbabalik siya.
Bumabalik.
Ganda. Diba? Okay, sige. Fast forward tayo ng konti. Si Toto na-immerse sa payak na household sa Golden Gate. Ang dalas pa ba no?
Correct.
Actually, yun ang problema dito sa Las Piñas. Noon hanggang ngayon ba?
Well, ang nare-recall ko talaga sa amin sa Golden Gate was that yung Topland Avenue, yung part ng Topland Avenue kung saan nandun yung bahay namin, was kind of like a catch basin. At nung time na yun, palayan talaga yung likod. Palayan talaga yung likod. In fact, it was adjacent to BF Parañaque na napalayan din. And may malaking culvert doon sa gitna ng catch basin na yon, na doon talaga dumadalo yung tubig. And that was the only part of Golden Gate subdivision na bumabaha. In fact, until now, I think medyo bumabaha pa rin doon sa area na yon. I still vividly recall times, madaling araw, gigisingin kami because pumapasok na yung tubig. And then we have to transfer dun sa kapitbahay namin. And, I'd see my mom and my dad lifting the refrigerator, the TV.
Grabe.
After a few more months, parang meron nakalagay na sa mataas na stand yung refrigerator.
So, marka na yung wall nyo.
Naging professional baha warriors na kami. Alam na namin how to do it and all that. But, baha nun. And I think that was also one of the main reasons why my dad eventually was very active in the community, being a community leader. Kasi yun yung mga problemang pare-pareho kaming sa neighborhood na i-experience.
Alam mo, kung may baha dito, may share ko lang. Pag may baha dito sa amin, sa BF Resort, pag malakas ang bagyo, nasa labas. Ano ba yan? Na-develop mo ba yan while growing up?
Siguro, at the back of my head, parang I wouldn't say innate. It's just that normally, pag may bagyo and may baha, ang natural reaction ng tao is to keep safe. Dapat magtago ka, indoor, at dapat ang gagawin mo lang is to ensure that your family is well protected and provisions are enough for you, hindi ba? But isa rin kasing factor dyan na nakakadagdag is that dati naman, dito sa atin sa BF Resort Village, a majority or most parts of Las Piñas, at least in general, hindi naman bumabaha. So everyone had that confidence, had that security na hindi naman babaha. So we just have to put our head down, keep safe, and tumutok sa balita. But fairly recently, I don't know, siguro mga since 2016 or so, maraming nagugulat na bumabaha na rin pala sa areas na dati hindi naman bumabaha. And so, true story was that one time, I was coming off a friend's house, gabi. Ang lakas ng ulan. So it wasn't even a bagyo, I think. So I'm not too sure if it was bagyo or amihan lang, monsoon. I'm not too sure. But paglabas ko ng Gloria Diaz coming from Classic 1, sobrang taas na ng tubig. I have an SUV, hindi naman ganun kataas. Normal lang naman siya na SUV. But it was really protruding na halos sa door ko yung tubig. So, being a community leader at official naman tayo ng Homeowners Association, sabi ko, lahat nagulat dito. Most probably, lahat hindi alam na ganito na. And so I just went straight to the security office. Nag-live na ako noon. In fact, yung una kong live, parang ang gulo nga dahil hindi ko naman ginagawa yan, di ba? Just to warn people na ganito na dito. And most probably sa ibang lugar sa BF Resort Village, baka ganun na rin without them knowing, di ba? So, it was really meant to inform people. Was meant to also make sure that yung mga merong para bang level of confidence na hindi binabaha dito mag-check man lang, hindi ba?
It's about time.
And surprisingly, maraming hindi talaga nakaalam at nagulat na bumabaha nga, hindi ba? So, it was really more of a spontaneous thing. And then eventually, when I got a lot of feedback na next time dapat ganito tayo, proactive, from time to time, ginagawa pa rin namin.
So, spontaneous pa kasi alam ng maraming stage yun. Lalabas siya, magla-live siya.
At least on the first two occasions, spontaneous talaga. Kasi normally bagyo, isipin mo na makakapagpabaha. Pero yung simpleng ulan, hindi mo iisipin makakapagpabaha, hindi ba? Likewise, ang important thing, you can't just go out and say na umuulan, basa yung kalsada, baha. So, everyone knows that obviously.
Yeah.
Pero yung ma-pinpoint mo kung saan yung mga flood-prone areas, at least based dun sa experience mo, what's causing it, ano yung most probable time na mangyayari yun. And ang pinaka-importante is, referring them or making information available kung sino yung tatawagan, kung ano man ang kailangan mong assistance, importante rin. Diba? Minsan nga, tatalo kami ng misis ko eh. Mismong security office ng Jefferson Village na number, hindi niya alam eh. Sabi ko, bakit hindi mo alam? Di ba? So you will have to continuously remind people kasi about it. But ngayon, I think mas maganda yung awareness. Alam na rin ng mga tao kung sino yung dapat tawagan. Alam na rin ng mga kapwa ko, volunteers at community leaders kung ano yung dapat gawin. So I think we're better prepared, generally speaking.
As a millennial, alam mo kung saan platform ito pupunta.
Ito ang nakakatawa.
Sa Facebook ka talaga pumunta.
But normally kasi pag may bagyo, marami namang warnings, di ba? And then, normally, marami rin namang mga group chat, di ba? Marami rin. Mga message can spread fairly quickly sa panahon natin ngayon. Ang surprising pa rin sa akin up till now is that pag nagla-live ka, mas malayo talaga yung reach. So I think it's, the algorithm maybe of Facebook. It's maybe the interest also of people when they see someone going live on Facebook. Pero in a matter of hours kasi, 10,000, 20,000 yung views versus someone na magpo-post lang ng info or magpo-post lang ng picture, parang mas malayo yung reach ng live. So, para sa akin, when I got to know na ganun pala ang result at ganun pala ang reception, pag importante, then, you go live para mas maganda yung reach.
Okay, nagsimula yung conversation natin sa pangalan. Meron akong ipo-point out. Itong election na darating, dalawang pinakamalaking pangalan sa Las Piñas ang maglalaban. I don't think this is the first time na, is it na naglaban yung dalawang malaking pangalan sa Las Piñas?
As far as I can remember,
Hindi ito?
Oo. I think ito yung first time.
Ito yung first time. Obviously, nakapili ka ng camp. Gaano siya kahirap pumili ng camp? Obvious choice ba yun? Or anong ibig sabihin kay Toto nung tatak nene na dinadala niyo sa campaign?
Well, even before we go into yung pagpili-pili ng camp, going into or making the decision to join mainstream politics is really the toughest part, not only for me, but for my family and my peers, my friends. I was in an event just yesterday lang, and isa sa mga iniidolo kong konsyal natin ngayon, si dati nating Vice Mayor, si Engineer Henry Medina, was introducing me. At, very spontaneous si Engineer Henry Medina, yung ating Councilor Engineer Henry Medina. At sabi niya sa akin, when he was introducing me, sabi niya sa mga tao, na alam niyo, si Yuan, isa itong executive sa isang malaking telco. Tahimik ang buhay, kumikita ng maayos. Sa totoo lang, dihadong-dihado siya sa sinasabak niya nito. Pero nandito siya ngayon. So, got me thinking kung dihado ba talaga ako or not.
Medyo ginagaslight ka niya.
Oo, but
okay naman siya, guys eh. Hindi ginagaslight ka rin. Okay naman siya, bakit niya kaya ito ginagawa?
Correct. So, mapapaisip ka rin talaga eh. Kasi that was also the main consideration ng family ko when pinag-uusapan namin sana yung pagtakbo ko. Because hindi naman talaga kami political family.
Yes, yun yung so important.
Hindi naman ako politikong talaga. In fact, in one of our conversations, I've told you na, paano ko tatakbo sa politika? Yung pangalan ko palang mapipilipit na yung dila ng mga
ang spelling.
Diba?
Saan yung double R ba? Double L?
Correct. Normally, kung if they get Yuan right, they will get Toralba wrong. They'll always say normally as yung last name ko na Toralba lang. And so yun yung top of head ko whenever people would tell me na okay yan, takbo kang politika, sabi ko. Sabi ng nanay ko, yung panghinang apelido natin.
Pangi.
Di ba? Paano na lang kung manual elections, sa spelling pa lang. Struggle na. Diba? Puro wrong spelling, wrong aabuti ng pangalan ko. So, those were the considerations. Nakakatawa dahil madalas Ewan Toralba, madalas Evan. But yung main consideration, the hardest part was whether to join politics or not. Secondary naman yung pagpili ng camp. In a very complicated or complex situations, ako, ang stand ko lagi is just to step back and make things simpler. Yung pagpili ng camp kasi for me was as simple as black and white. Black or white. Right or wrong. Walang middle ground for me. Relative to my beliefs and my principles, it's purely black or white. And obviously, I join where I feel that, where I feel and I know na yung principles ko at yung paniniwala ko is clearly white. Diba?
Pero, kinuwento mo nga, pinapakilala ka na, komportable ka ba na, kasi nakaka-attend ako ng, or nakakita ka ng isang campaign rally, or hindi pa campaign rally. Piniflex ka as, ikaw yung eye candy. Komportable ka ba dun sa... ikaw yung pampakilig sa mga botante?
Alam mo, yung mga pangyayari during, we call those events meet and greet. Again, it was very spontaneous. Lagi nga rin sinasabi ng mga kasamahan ko ngayon na ikaw yung laging huling pinapakilala kasi ikaw yung si Pipili.
Ako correct lang, meet and greet lang.
Meet and greet. That was really spontaneous, hindi yun planned eh. You would think na very structured ang political campaign, you would think na very rigid and it will always be ABC and 1, 2, 3. But I can honestly tell you now that I'm seeing it, hindi ganon. A lot is derived from the spontaneity of events. A lot is derived on the feedback of people during events. So, going back, spontaneous yun. As to me being comfortable or not, ang unang-unang naging struggle dyan was kung paano kasi ako mag-react eh. Dahil sa totoo lang, first time lang din naman na ganun yung reception.
Parang meron pang naka-face mask ka, tapos ipapaalis yung face mask mo magwawala yung mga tao eh.
Well, yung pagiging uncomfortable was because it was all happening very fast, all at the same time, and very overwhelming. So, yung me being comfortable or not, I think is relative, pero kasi grabe. So, para bang utak mo, ang tumatakbo sa isip ko was, totoo ba to? Di ba? Parang it was a feeling, it was surreal. It was something that I've never seen, felt, and heard of before. So, I never really questioned myself if komportable ako or not. It was really me asking the question na, totoo ba talaga to? Talaga bang warm yung reception sa akin, sa amin? Talaga bang yung tao was clamoring for someone like me, a fresh face? Talaga bang ito yun? And up until now, I think, reinforced and strengthened naman yun. Yung pagiging eye candy and all, yung kilig-kilig factors. And more than anything, I think it's katuwaan talaga. Alam mo, sa kumpanya, kailangan din masaya tayo eh. Ang hirap naman nung very stiff.
Tama.
Diba? Yung para bang very robotic ang dating natin.
Well, it's nice that you were self-aware na kailangan mag-loosen up ka rin.
Correct.
Para ma-reach mo yung audience.
Correct. So, yan ang sentiment ko dyan. Up till now, kung okay lang, gusto ko magpasalamat talaga sa mga supporters natin for the continued warm reception. Para ako nagkaroon ng isang pamilya sa buong distrito ng Las Piñas.
Pero hindi ka kasi kilala, I guess, sa mga nakakausap ko. Hindi ka nila kilala as, yung showbiz. Mas kilala ka nila as the sports guy.
Ah.
You and the sports guy. Anong sports natin?
Well, my primary sports, ang nilalaro ko talaga basketball.
Okay.
At yung mga kababata ko would know me.
Yan, yung
to
mga kababata mong nakakausap ko.
would know me to be someone who's really an avid fan of basketball. Hindi ako yung flashiest na player. Pero kahit sa sports kasi, lalo na sa basketball, I'm into, being a team player, and most of the time, captain ball, co-coach.
Yun yung tatanong ko
Yung mga trip ko
Yun yung tinatanong sa kanila. Pag nakakalaro niyo siya, ano ba siya? Star player ba siya? O role player siya? Or paano siya sa court? Paano ba?
Well, definitely hindi star player. Mas magagaling sa akin. But kung basketball per se ang pag-uusapan, yeah, I'm the dirty jobs guy sa basketball. Ang idol ko sa NBA, si Dennis Rodman. Someone who's cleaning up the board.
Nasty nun.
Someone who does the hustle. Although sa PBA, Alvin Patrimonio tayo, siyempre. Pogi. Kailangan pogi din tayo. But in reality, nung lumalaki ako, because mataba ako, medyo chubby, medyo hindi naman tayo katangkaran, but compared to the rest, medyo mas nakakatangkad tayo. I was kind of like the enforcer of some sort sa team. I was the energy driver. And very curious ako lagi sa strategies. Parang nagko-coach-coach siya, nagagaling-galingan to become a coach also. Di ba? So, yun yung interest ko.
Pero kaya ako natanong yun kasi pag ito papasok ka na ng local politics. No? And alam natin, ang politics sa Las Piñas talagang dominated siya by the old guards, tawagin ng mga millennials. So, politics na naipasa over the years. Anong strategy din mo dito? Speaking of strategy, magpapaka-role player ka ba? Would you play along with the old guards politics? Or papaka-star player ka ba at i-represent mo yung millennials?
Well, I think star player, yung konsepto of being a star player or a role player, I think sometimes it's taken out of context. Ang hirap i-compare also into politics. But one of the main driving force and reason why I decided to join politics was because when Mayor Mel and Ma'am April Aguilar was asking me or talking to me about the possibility of me joining them, ang number one consideration na sinabi nila sa akin was that we need you to be you. We need you to be the Yuan as you are and the Yuan that people knows.
Alright.
Never hanggang ngayon na-mention na, na dapat makisama ka sa amin.
Nice.
Dapat kung anong nakasanayan, yun ang gawin natin. The talk really revolves more around principles than magiging pakikisama. Alam mo, I've talked to a lot of politicians before, lalong-lalo na nung naging officer tayo dito sa BF Resort Village. And I'd go back to my term kanina na black and white lang ang choices. Wrong or right, tama o mali lang ang choices. Kasi para sa akin, it should be that simple lamang di ba? It's just a question of tama or mali, right or wrong. And marami ako nakakausap na politicians whenever I tell them about it, na yun yung stand ko, it's a choice between right and wrong, good or evil, if you may. Ang laging sagot sa akin hindi kasi ganun kasimple yun.
Yun din ang
diba?
alam ng lahat. I mean,
yun din ang alam ng lahat. Pero, for someone like me, and I think most millennial dads would be able to relate. Pagdating sa mga anak mo, it's always just about black and white, right and wrong, hindi ba? Wala namang middle ground.
That makes sense.
Pagdating sa pamilya mo, being millennial dads na alam mo naman tayo, very busy, on the go parate, wala na masyadong time to really think things over. It's just a matter of black or white, right and wrong. So, I bring that principle with me also dito sa pagpasok ko. And while people would always tell me na, naku bro, hindi ganun kasimple yun. Hindi ba? I'm prepared to bring that all the way through. Otherwise, ay di wala na rin tayong pinagkaiba.
Okay. Yung sa mga nakakausap ko, din kaka-describe nila sa'yo, ay may pagka-disruptor na. Si Yuan the Disruptor. May Messiah complex ka ba?
Yeah. Nakakatawa kasi yung term na disruptor. Kahit sa amin sa opisina, sa corporate world where I work for, laging ginagamit yan. Lately, disruptive means or is synonymous to being positive.
Yes!
Diba? Connote something that's positive dahil you have to change things. As they say, diba, what brought us to today won't bring us to where we want to go tomorrow. So, para naman sa akin, going back to my concept na pasimplihin natin lagi yung mga sitwasyon, it's not being disruptive. It's not being or having that Messiah
Cornflakes.
complex or being cornflakes. Para sa akin kasi, it's you needing to make those unpopular decisions that will matter. There will be unpopular decisions na at first you think to be or you perceive to be disruptive. Pero sa totoo lang, yung unpopular decisions na yan, alam ng karamihan na yan yung right decision.
Yeah.
It's just that, it's unpopular kasi.
Yeah.
And it will be connoted as something to be disruptive. Na para bang panggulo.
Yeah.
Pero eventually, people knows that it's the right decision. So more than being disruptive, more than having that Messiah complexity or that Messiah mentality, it's us needing to make that unpopular decision to make that decision significant. Yun yung stand ko.
Ito, basketball reference.
Oh, balik tayo sa basketball.
Did you drop the ball on the BF Resort Homeowners Association legitimacy issue? Kasi tagal mo walang naririnig eh from you. No, so parang lahat asan siya? Dapat may statement siya. So ano ba?
Well, alam mo, I've been asked that question multiple times already, lalo na nung kainitan ng issue. In fact, marami sa mga pangyayari nung June of 2024 was again very spontaneous, and ramdam ko naman that people were kind of looking up to me to make a statement, to have that defiant stand, to have that strong leadership na matagal nilang hinahanap or nakikita nila or ina-expect nila sa akin and sa amin. But during that time, ramdam ko na that the whole community was really tensed.
Yeah.
The environment, the nature of the people within BF Resort Village, at actually hindi nga lang within BF Resort Village, very, very tense talaga.
Buong distrito mo.
Diba? There were police coming in and out of the clubhouse. You had barangay officials
medyo
also.
maligalig yung time na yun.
Diba? Maligalig, correct. Yung pinakamagandang term dyan, maligalig. And for me, during that time, it was either we continue to foster that energy ng pagiging maligalig, pagiging tense, pagiging combative, up to the point na baka talagang magkagulo, or we remain calm. For me, the ultimate expression of leadership and ultimate expression of, having that power is to be calm on the moments and on the times na dapat mag-give up ka na.
Yeah.
More than having that combative stance, more than having that fighting form, I, together with the group, chose to be professionals. Para sa amin, ang ultimate expression kung sino talaga ang legitimate, kung sino talaga ang nararapat dito is to show people na nagtatrabaho pa rin tayo even with all of this kaguluhan.
Na compose ka and
Compose tayo.
functional.
Tayo. Because you know naman that the case now is with the courts. It's for the courts now to decide. In fact, ang stand nila, expired na tayo.
Yeah.
Stand namin, 2019 pa lang, perpetual ng existence ng ating Homeowners Association. Pero umabot na to sa korte. And we will have to respect the process of the courts. But, be it as it may, nandito pa rin tayo. Functioning pa rin tayo. Kung nakipag-away ba ako, nagkaroon ba ako ng fighting stance noon, nirile up ko yung energy and emotions ng tao para magbakbakan tayo. Will that help? Oo, we will feel good. Tapang natin. Ang lakas natin. We can rally support.
Yeah.
Pero generally speaking, will that do any good? Na nag-aaway-aaway tayo? Yung
May may crowd na gusto yung ganun.
Correct.
Na hinihintay na, where is Yuan the Disruptor when you need him?
Correct.
Pero, mas pinili mong maging composed.
Mas pinili naming grupo.
Yeah.
Mas maging composed. Mas pinili naming grupo na i-prove via our actions. At kita nyo naman, na nandito pa rin kami because, alam mo pare, ganito the easiest way then was just to say, I quit.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Diba? Wala naman kami sweldo.
Totoo.
Wala naman kami sweldo. People would always misconstrue na nangungurakot kami.
Sa inyo na nga yan. Parang ang galing nga.
May sweldo kami and all that. But in reality, wala. Kahit pagbalik-balik rin natin ang records yan. And that's the main reason why nagtatrabaho pa rin kami. Kahit nagsiserve sa Death Resort Village. Dahil kailangan din naman namin kumita. And we balance things. During that time, the easiest approach was just to say, okay, inyo na. Pahirapan ko kayo. Inyo na. Manahin nyo lahat ng problema. Pero is that the right thing to do? People would say na you dropped the ball. You were quiet. But if you take a look at it, did we? We didn't drop the ball. We are still here. We were there. And we will continue to be here until the people chooses not to. Nandito pa rin tayo.
Ang layo na nung immersion ni Toto to now Yuan, no? Sa pag-iikot mo sa, hindi lang sa BF Resort, hindi lang sa komunidad natin, sa buong District 2, nasabi mo sa akin may malaking bilang pala ng mga nakatira sa District 2 na hindi sa gated subdivision nakatira. No? Sabihin na natin nasa laylayan. Anong nabago ba nun yung mo?
Oh yeah, definitely.
How did it change hindi ka na ba Yuan para sa mayaman?
Yan ang normaling, yan ang normaling para bang illustration nila sa akin eh. And, whether it has changed me or not, it definitely has. Alam mo kasi for someone like me na millennial dad, if you may, or a family that's fairly young, ang buhay naman natin normally is, to just go to work, bring our kids to school,
Totoo.
make sure that, everyone's safe in our family, and then tustusan lang yung pamumuhay natin. But I was one of those also who wasn't really aware of the real situation, at least ng City of Las Piñas, ng mga residente at mamamayan ng City of Las Piñas. Kaya hindi ko masasabing expert ako o alam ko kung anong dapat gawin o solusyon dahil ngayon ko lang din naman na nakikita. Now that I've seen that there's 20,000 families na wala pa rin babae sa Las Piñas. Now that I've seen, kasi it's different if you just look at the statistics and if you see, feel, hear,
Naamoy mo.
and smell, di ba?
Nadaanan mo.
Lahat ng sitwasyon ng mga taga Las Piñas. Now that I've seen it, heard it, it's something that's very profound na hindi mawawala sa utak mo eh. For for someone like me na, syempre tayo, medyo bata pa naman tayo. Normally, yung utak natin talaga kahit pag-uwi sa bahay, takbo ng takbo. And yung mga nakikita kong family sa extended communities, yun ay patotoo ng totoong sitwasyon ng Las Piñas City. Kasi ang impression ng normal na tao sa Las Piñas City na, marami naman sa inyo middle class 90% sa inyo nasa gated subdivision. Marami naman sa inyo nakatira sa konkretong mga bahay.
Yeah.
Pero when you see people in Las Piñas living sa tabi ng creek, sa ilalim ng tulay, pag nakita mo yung mga tao nasa likod ng pader na maliit lang ang daanan, tapos yun pala libo-libo silang nakatira doon. When you see the real plight of people na talagang pagpunta mo sa bahay, yung mga baby may bukol sa ulo, walang pambayad sa ospital, lalo na siyempre, nung nagsimula tayo sa kampanya, maraming lumalapit sa atin humingi ng financial assistance. Kailangan, brother, i-consider mo yun. Mahirap siya in a sense na there's really not going to be a definite answer yet for now. Pero that will be something that will always be at the back of my head and at the top of my head.
Pero sila din yung sila din yung kumbaga sila yung gumagawa ng mga trabaho. Sila yung mga nagtatrabaho para sa atin. Sila yung nagkakatanda mo, sila yung nagko-collecta ng basura mo and all that. So, sila yung cog doon sa machine, sa bigger machine, no? So, ang tanong ko ngayon, kanino ka magsaserve? Kadilema ka ba? Sa kaninong part nung tatsulok ka magsaserve? Sa mas malaki o dun sa mas maliit?
My heart will definitely always stay with BF Resort Village. Hindi yan mawawala. Kahit naman dito sa atin sa loob ng BF Resort Village or Barangay Talondos, marami rin naman tayong mga extended communities na nangangailangan. Merong mga nagkikwento sa akin na, masyado nang maliit sa'yo ang BF Resort Village, kailangan palawakin mo, kaya dapat tumakbo ka na, yung mga ganong comment, di ba? But the gargantuan task of helping Las Piñas City residents, the gargantuan task of helping the poorest of the poor isn't going to be solved by one person alone. Isn't going to be solved by one solution alone. Masyadong complex. Kailangan yan na dynamic ang solusyon. So, to go back to your question, kanino ka magsiserve? Para sa akin, number one, it has to be fair to everyone, regardless of social class. Dapat patay-patay. Bagamat ang puso ko will always remain with BF Resort Village.
Mataas yung kilay ng mga old guards doon sa statement.
Pero it has to be pantay-pantay. Alam mo kasi ganito the first step is for people to be aware and for them to understand kung ano yung totoong sitwasyon. Like me, hindi ko naman dati alam, hindi ko dati nakikita, hindi ko naamoy.
Correct.
Pero if people will have that wide mindset, that elbow room na tama nga, hindi lang naman pala tayo yung nagmamatter. If people will have that mentality na, nahiya naman yung reklamo ko dahil mas kawawa yung iba. Swerte pa pala ako sa sitwasyong to.
Yun.
Compared sa iba.
Correct. Yun yung feeling na, I guess, tumama sa akin. Nakita ko yung leadership mo. Bilang millennial, ang dali natin mag-disconnect kasi busy tayo sa trabaho, every man for himself. Pero nung nakita namin yung style ni Yuba, nag-i-immerse talaga siya. Parang millennial rooting for another millennial. Kaya, boss maglaan ka lang ng oras
Diba? Sinasabi ko yung nahiya yung problema ko sa problema ng iba. Kasi yung problema ko pala, baliwala pa doon sa problema ng mga kababayan.
Pero may plano ka, kung papala rin na isasama mo sa pagbuo ng legislation yung iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan from
sabi ko nga, it has to be dynamic. Ayoko magkwento ng full-blown plataforma.
Sige, wag.
Dahil abutin tayo ng hanggang May 12 dito, tapos na election. Nagkikwento pa rin kami. But it has to be multi-pronged. From pabahay to kabuhayan to social services. Hindi kasi pwedeng snippets eh. Hindi pwedeng dito lang ang buhos ng lahat. It has to be an ecosystem na pag-solve. Hindi pwedeng, like I always say, very controversial ngayon yung ayuda. Hindi pwedeng puro short-term. While ayuda will give you short-term benefits, it won't be the ultimate solution. And just like what I said kanina, there needs to be unpopular decisions to be made. Kailangan talaga may gawin tayong unpopular decision para mangyari yung long-term solutions. Yung story about pabahay, hindi accepted ng karamihan yung pabahay na verticals. Ang notion ng karamihan dyan na hindi naman mangyayari yung pabahay na verticals, talaga, bibigyan nyo kami ng condominium, that will never happen. Hindi mangyayari yan, binubola nyo lang kami dahil election ngayon. So, yun yung mga unpopular decision na sinasabi ko na kailangan mangyari. Yung patrabaho. Isipin mo, ngayon may clamor for abled senior citizens na dapat payagan pa rin natin magtrabaho kahit saglit lang na panahon o oras every day.
Or part-time.
Di ba? Part-time. In fact, one of, I think KFC or one of those fast food chains has done that already as a major program.
KFC, baka naman.
Di ba? I strongly support that. Maraming senior citizens na able pa. Pwede magtrabaho kahit 3-4 hours a day. That will relieve also the strain on the social services natin sa mga senior citizens. Pero that's unpopular kasi ang double-edged yan. Either sabihin ng mga bata na tinatanggal nyo sa amin yung trabaho na dapat sa amin na. Pangalawa, sasabihin naman on the flip side, pwedeng sabihin ng mga senior citizens na dapat naman kasi hindi na kami nagtatrabaho kung maayos lang ang social services natin. Hindi ba? So, that's what I meant by...
And it's nice that you recognize that there is always a flip side.
Oo, and doon papasok yung it being an unpopular decision to some. Pero kailangan mangyari. Hindi ba? So, let's revert back to your question. Pagsiservisyo dapat para sa lahat, regardless of social class. Masyadong cheesy, masyadong politician yung dating ng sagot. Pero there's also a very definitive solution to it. At isa doon yung mga nabanggit, ilan doon yung mga nabanggit ko na medyo unpopular decision, pero kailangan simulan.
Abangan natin yan. At babantayan natin yan.
Babantayan.
May soft spot ka na sa mga maliliit na negosyante bago pa yung term mo sa Homeowners Association. At sa day job mo ba to? Or paano nagsimula itong soft spot mo sa mga SMEs?
Soft spot sa micro and small business apart from me being ahead of sa company namin in charge for micro and small enterprises or micro and small businesses. Lumaki ako, brother, sa household na may sari-sari store kami.
Talaga ba?
So sa Golden Gate, may sari-sari store yung nanay ko.
Okay.
At ang trip ko noon, pag may bumibili ng soft drinks, siyempre bubuhos mo yung soft drinks sa plastic. May matitira doon, brother. May matitirang bula. Yung bula na yun yung iniinom ko.
Kaya ko root beer yun.
Diba? Coke pa naman na yata yun, tsaka Pepsi. Ang ginagawa ko pa noon, minsan, hindi ko binubuhos lahat, pinapabula ko para maraming matira. Tapos iniipon ko yung tira sa isang maliit na baso hanggang makabuo ko ng isang buong baso. Mga memories ko na nung may tindahan pa yung nanay ko sa Golden Gate. So I grew up with that mindset na ganito pala ang isang micro-business, ang isang nanay, ang isang housewife. Merong sideline, merong sari-sari store, hindi ba? So sanay ako dun sa ganong klase ng setup sa bahay. And nung college ako, actually when I was about to graduate high school, nag-early retirement yung tatay ko. My dad is an engineer by profession. Pero guess what? Nung nag-retire siya, kung ano ulit naging negosyo namin. Sari-sari store na naman ulit. And throughout my stay in college, nasa Lasal ako noon sa Manila, siyempre sabi ko, Lasal, big time, social. Pero pag umuwi ako sa bahay, ang unang sasabihin sa akin ng tatay ko, punta tayo sa macro. Kailangan natin mamili ng mga paninda. May macro pa noong time na yun. Di ba?
Sukat.
No. Yeah, meron sa sukat. Pumupunta kami. And then eventually, nagkaroon din dito sa atin. Pero, ang memory ko dyan was that now that I look back, yun yung isa sa mga nagtaguyod sa pagpapaaral ko nung college ako. Meron kaming college assurance plan, pero pinupursige kasi ng tatay ko yung sari-sari store namin noon sa may Emma Palico area. And so, looking back, I think yun yung isa sa nagtaguyod nung college education ko.
Yun din yung crowd na nagro-root sa'yo ngayon. Mga maliliit na negosyante. They feel that they have fighting chance now because nandiyan ka.
Alam mo, ang Pilipino kasi will always have that entrepreneurial nature. Will always have that entrepreneurial spirit. Nakakatawa when we talk about teacher selling longganisa. Nakakatawa when, we talk about yung experience natin ng college tayo na pagsakay natin sa bus trans o sa bus may magbebenta ng makapuno. Di ba? Nakakatawa yung pagka Pasko, lahat nagbe-bake ng cookies, ng leche flan, ng ubi halaya,
fruitcake,
ibebenta sa neighborhood. I think that's something that's very innate sa Pilipino. At yan ay was brought about by the upbringing din kasi ng Pilipino dahil to your term, payak yung pamumuhay. Lahat doon nagsimula in some form or another. Lahat nagsimula sa payak at simpleng pamumuhay. And then, na-ingrain na yan sa mga Pilipino until now. Pagdating sa politika, pagdating sa pagpapatakbo ng isang organisasyon, pagdating sa local community, dapat ganun din yung mindset hindi ba? Maging resourceful, di ba? Maging payak, maging humble. Sustainable. At higit sa lahat, ang nature kasi ng pagiging small business owner is kadalasan dyan, ikaw lahat, brother. Ikaw ang kumikilos. Sa sitwasyon natin ngayon, sa community, sa leadership, sa politika, dapat yung mismong leaders ang kumikilos Similar sa pagiging isang tindera. Ikaw lahat. Para sigurado ka na tama lahat ng paninda mo, yung income mo tama. At I'd go back again sa leadership style, sa leadership sa community. Ganun ako. Dapat more than sa pag-uutos, ikaw yung manguna, ikaw ang gumawa para alam mo indeed kung anong nangyayari. Diba? So, yan yung correlation ko between what a micro and small business owner is to being a community leader.
Dahil ang pangalan ng show ay Tatay Small Talk.
Tatay Small Talk.
Wala tayong choice kundi pag-usapan yung parenting natin, parenting style natin. So, pupunta tayo sa mas personal na usapan. Yung nakwento mo during the briefing, yung parenting style ng mom mo na she would always burst your bubble. Something like that. Yung parang kukontrahin ka or what have you. Sa tingin mo, nakatulong yun sa leadership style mo? Or
well, yung, growing up, and sana hindi magalit yung nanay ko, but
napag-uusapan lang namin, no judgment.
No judgment. But syempre, ang tingin kasi sa akin was, hindi naman kasi ganun katataas ang grades ko nung high school ako. Nakwento rin sa'yo na nasabihan ako ng nanay ko, hindi ka papasa sa Lasal, hindi ka papasa sa UP, kumuha ka na ng entrance exam sa ibang school. Pero somewhat that drove me to really make sure na mapatunayan ko na hindi, kaya ko. Kahit school buko lang tingin sa akin. My mom would always say, Toto, puro yabang lang to, puro basketball lang ang alam nito But somehow that drove me to really ensure na hindi, kahit pa paano kaya ko to. So, para bang yung pinapakitang lack of confidence sa akin, I kind of use that to really prove a point and make sure na yung confidence level ko laging at its peak. Eventually, ayoko sabihin may napatunayan naman tayo dahil hindi rin naman ganun katataas ang grades ko sa Lasal nung college ako. But tuloy-tuloy kasi yung naging run ko from from college, nagkatrabaho agad. In fact, kahit nag-aaral pa ako, nagkatrabaho na ako. And then, tuloy-tuloy, somehow, yung blessings hanggang ngayon. So, relating that to my parenting style ngayon, and like many millennial dads, ang mindset natin is, huwag i-underestimate ang mga bata lagi. Hindi ba? Because...
Medyo controversial siya na topic ngayon. Dapat ba ganun? Or sinasabi mo, nakatulong sa'yo na to prove yourself, to always prove yourself.
So, ako ganun ako sa mga anak ko, not to underestimate them parate. I've always wanted to give them enough elbow room, regardless kung, syempre, lahat naman may weaknesses and strengths. But sometimes, I'd see my daughter na struggling in one subject, pero fairly recently, nakita ko, ang galing pala niya pare sa word cross puzzle. Word cross puzzle ng dyaryo.
Kasi nga nababasa ka ng dyaryo.
So, I didn't even know that. Hindi ko nga alam, nagko-crossword pala siya sa dyaryo ng Philippine Star. Ako nga hindi ako makakompleto nun eh. And I was telling my daughter na, sabi ko, you know what? Nagmana ka sa lolo mo. Your lolo, Ike, was very good at crossword puzzles too.
Bakit nga pala may newspaper subscription ka ba?
Well.
Hindi nakaka-millennial yun eh. Hindi, joke lang.
Pero alam mo yun yung kwento ko ulit. Growing up, my dad would always read the papers. And lagi niya sa akin sinasabi na to widen your vocabulary, to be updated with current events. Dapat nagbabasa ka ng dyaryo.
Pero di ba, ang first choice mo sa college was journalism?
Journalism. So I grew up to that. Yung interest ko was big because of that. Pero nung lumalaki ako, lagi nagbabasa ng dyaryo si Papa. At ako naman, parang ba't ako makapasa ng dyaryo? Pero I was interested in sports kasi, di ba? So ang una kong ginawa, na-interest ako magbasa ng sports section. Doon ko lagi tinitingnan yung baskenor ni Alvin Patrimonio, ni Jericho Tiniera, pure foods ako eh. So I started reading the sports section of the newspaper muna. And from there, it grew. Naging interested ako lalo na magbasa ng newspaper hanggang nung naging college ako. Siyempre, pag college ka, medyo wide-ranging na yung subjects mo. Kailangan magbasa ka na rin, di ba? Nauubos ko na lagi yung sports page. So, lipat ka na ngayon sa business section. Kasi nasa course ko nung sa Lasal ako, finance ako management of financial institutions. So, kahit pa paano nakakatulong kung nagbabasa ka ng business sections. So, again, it piqued my interest palalo. Basa ng business sections. Hanggang banda wala, nauubos mo na yung business sections.
Hula ako yung susunod mong tinalunan.
Ano na?
Lifestyle.
Basa ka naman ngayon ng horoscope kahit pa paano. Di ba? Para bang food for thought lang. And then eventually, main page. About politics. Di ba? Current events.
Pa-broadsheet. Pupunta ka na dun sa...
So yun. Hanggang ngayon, tumuloy-tuloy na yung pagbasa ng dyaryo. Pero...
Parang nag-full circle na siya ngayon sa daughter mo.
Sa daughter ko.
Na siya naman, yung nakalapag lang dun, hindi mo alam, pinupuntahan niya pala yung crossword.
Correct. And, talking about yung topic natin kanina na do not underestimate the children now, I'm not underestimating talaga any one of them now. Kasi yung daughter ko, minsan, hirap siya sa Filipino subject, pero ang galing pala sa ibang bagay. And ako, sports-minded ako, pero hindi ko pinipwesa my children to be into sports also. Gusto ko natural. Kung ano yung interest nila, yun lang yung i-pursue nila. So, I guess ganun akong klaseng millennial dad. I gave a lot of elbow room, leeway for them. Walang pressure, kumbaga.
Okay, sa lahat ng nangyari, hindi naman natin pwedeng i-discount na, syempre, nalalayan ka ni misis dyan. Paano naman to ngayon? Pasok ka na sa election, paano mo siya na-convince na is she all in or pinipigilan ka ba?
Well, parang hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin yata kumbinsido yung misis ko. But, being a good wife, partner in life, and being a good mother as well, a responsible mother, alam naman niya kung ano yung pinanggagalingan ko. So, even though I feel na hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin siya completely convinced, sumusuporta naman, syempre 100%. Pero apart from my wife, isa rin sa pinakamahirap makumbinsi was yung nanay ko.
Oh,
Diba?
ito na naman siya.
Oo.
Hindi mo kaya yan.
Well, ngayon naman hindi na ganun yung tenor niya.
Alright.
She was more like, siyempre umiiyak.
Oo.
But her tenor was, paano na lang tayo niyan? Sabi niya, paano na lang tayo niyan? Paano ka na lang niyan? Yung mga kasama mo sa politika, mayayaman yan. Tayo hindi tayo mayaman.
Ayun naman
Anong
talaga.
mangyayari sa'yo? Maliliit pa yung mga bata.
Tingin ko nang gagaling siya lagi naman sa sa lugar ng pag-aalala. Hindi naman to,
This is the nature of a mother, di ba? Pero hindi ko makalimutan yun. Sinabi niya, paano na yung mga bata? Mayayaman yung mga kasama mo? I-give up mo yung trabaho mo? Paano ka na lang? Paano na lang tayo? So, doon siya nanggagaling dahil, syempre, may worry, going into the unknown, going into unfamiliar territories for the family dahil hindi naman kami talaga political family. So, eventually, nakumbinsi ko rin naman at may takot din naman at naniniwala sa Diyos ang buong pamilya at nanay ko. And so long as we're doing everything na align sa turo ng Panginoon at utos niya, malagay ko naman hindi tayo pababayaan. Yun din yung sabi ng nanay ko.
Ito, nairarapat ko na. Feeling ko hindi lang ako ang na-inspire mo bilang millennial. I think maraming millennial lang nagro-root para sa'yo. Kasi tingin nila, ikaw yung pangit kasi ng boses ang cheesy. Pero ikaw yung representation ng millennial sa politika. Marami sa mga millennial cynical na, hindi na naniniwala sa election process. In fact, hindi na bumuboto yung iba. What would you wanna tell them?
Well, I don't wanna, I don't know. It's up to the people to decide on how they want to perceive me. Kung ang perception nila sa akin is me being an inspiration. Ang perception nila is that I am the one that's going to be their leader, their driving force. Nasa tao yun. Normally, and I think I can very much relate to this perception. Normally, ang mga millennial leaders are perceived to be rough, mayabang, show off, to your term kanina, disruptive or that disruptor. Normally, millennials are perceived to be complicated, di ba? But more than that, para sa akin, yung pagiging millennial is just being true to yourself. Yung pagiging millennial, yung pagiging, ang tawag mo doon, yung tatay talks, yung millennial dad, which is being true to what your heart desires. Yun yung pinagkaiba natin sa ibang generation eh. Lagi sasabihin, di ba, word mo, cynical, walang pakialam. It's not that wala tayong pakialam. It's just that we strongly believe in our desires, in our ideals, and in our ideas. Yun yung pinagkaiba natin. Pag sinabi mo kasing cynical, parang wala ka talagang pakialam, di ba? And that you don't care, period. It's not that eh. Being millennial is being strong, resolute, and more than anything sa panahon natin ngayon, hindi ba? It's just being tama. Doon lang tayo sa tama.
In behalf of my co-host, Doming Dalisay, and my producer, Winston Alcantara, this has been your Tatay Mike. This is Tatay Small Talk. You won, Toral Balya, ladies and gentlemen.